everyone, we are back again with LOC Celebrate, and for today's edition, I'm one of your presenters. I am Denisha Kata.
And I am Chalvin MSK, your co-presenter. So today in the studios, we have with us the best graduating medical students. Isn't that wonderful? So please introduce yourself to us.
Hi, my name is Dr Hassanatu. I graduated recently as the best graduating student of my class of 2024.
Okay, so there are several questions I want to ask you. I want to know how was your journey in commerce, and so we'd like for you to tell us how was commerce both spiritually and academically.
Okay, so my journey through commerce, I would say, was very memorable because, in order to just give a precise answer to that, I would say that it helped me to uncover my resilience in difficult times and also to embrace challenges and also to develop a strong belief in my ability to overcome those challenges. So in a nutshell, I would say that my journey through commerce helped me to identify growth. It created an opportunity for me to grow and also to uncover my resilience in difficult times.
Amazing answer. So how did you battle with studies and extracurricular activities?
Okay, so I am more of an introvert, even during my stay in commerce. So even though I was involved in extracurricular activities, but that was basically my church activities, I'm not like an extrovert, so it wasn't too difficult because I just had church and school. So that was the only thing on my plate.
Okay, so I would like to know if there were moments wherein your faith gave you strength to persevere through challenges.
Of course, there are moments that my faith gave me strength to persevere challenges because just like anyone else, I faced challenges during my stay in commerce. But then coming from a Christian home, I knew that, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So I had that at the back of my mind, and I always consulted God when I was, faced with difficult times during my studies.
Amazing. This is very interesting. So, another question. So, how did you balance your academic responsibilities with your spiritual growth?
Okay. So I tried my best. I have to be honest with you that, of course, I made sure that it didn't affect my personal relationship with God because, of course, I had my prayer time. There were periods that I was fasting. I read my Bible. But then I was not too involved in other church activities like worship programs and all that because there were times that I had to enforce, self-discipline. I had to stay home. I think what was important was my personal relationship with God, and I tried my best to uphold that.
Okay. So for this last session, I would like to ask again, I think this is more interesting, if there was this particular specific Bible verse that kept you going all through the academic years that you spent here in commerce.
Okay, so even before I came to commerce, I told you that I come from a Christian home. So even when I was a kid, there was this popular verse in the Bible that my mom always tells me when we do our morning devotions and all that. She'll say, pray and ask God to give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, just like He gave to Solomon. So till now, I still have that at the back of my mind. As old as I am, I still pray for that. Oh, please God, give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding like you gave to Solomon. I think that's from 1 Kings 3 verse 8, something like that. And also there is this that says, ask and it shall be given unto you. So I know that, wisdom comes from God. That also is in the Bible. And we just have to acknowledge that it is God that gives wisdom and we have to ask for it. So if we ask, He will make it available to us.
Interesting and wonderful answers. Stay tuned as we'll be back to continue this wonderful session. Bye.
Change me story. Now make I tell you about in grace. Where they make I shine all about the place. Now they help me run me race. From grass, it helps me up to grace. I know for saying I see them. If no know to God will help me. I know go shame for shouting name. Jesus, I salute you. I know for the
Welcome back, viewers. So, Dr. Hassanatu would like to know what role did prayer play in your decision making and your daily life as a student?
It was, I would say that prayer contributed to almost like 95% to my daily life and also my life as a student, because honestly I prayed about everything till now. And we all know that commerce can be very stressful. Medicine itself is very stressful. You know, there are times that I cried my eyes out in prayer because I believe that was my, my only source. And also if you're in commerce, you'll be forced to be prayerful because the stress, and also the only option you have is God. So of course I was very prayerful. I prayed, I fasted, and it was not just because I was in medical school, but even before I came here I knew that prayer was my only weapon, and it was the only thing that would help me. So I was prayed about 95 to 100% in my journey.
Okay, very nice. So we all know in life we have people that we look up to. So we'll ask you, who is your biggest inspiration in the medical field? Because that's the field we find ourselves in.
Okay, so honestly I have people that I admire in the medical field, but I would not want to say biggest inspiration per se. Okay, but then I have people that I admired that I'm still admiring, during my stay at commerce until now. Of course I have doctors, but I don't think I would want to call names, but just know that I have people that I look up to that served as inspiration and motivation for me. I see those people and I tell myself that, I would want to become like this person someday. I would want to be a doctor like this person someday. So of course I have those people.
So, Dr. Hassanatu, what was your motivation stance? Why did you choose medicine?
Okay, so I had lots of motivation, but before I came to medical school, I was very curious. My friend in grade 6, she was my best friend. She died of a heart condition, and that was because there was no cardiothoracic surgeon to do her surgery in the country. So they were supposed to take her to Ghana for the surgery, but then a few weeks before the set date, she passed. But then during those times, I was very curious to know what was happening. All I could hear was that she had a heart condition, but I didn't actually know if it was heart failure or any other congenital abnormality. But then I saw that, her legs were swollen. She had this dyspnea. The last time I went to her, she told me that, I can't breathe when lying down. I have difficulty breathing and all that. So I was curious to know what was the relationship between the heart condition and all the signs and symptoms that she was experiencing. So I told myself that, okay, perhaps I would one day want to be a doctor in order to understand this. So that was where my love for medicine started. And again, after that, in my I think it was in SSS 1, we had a biology class, and then our biology teacher mentioned cardiology. He was saying that cardiologists are people who study about the heart doctors. So I told myself, okay, so I would want to explore this field. And then I came to commerce, I learned more about cardiology and all that. I understood what my friend was experiencing and all that. So I would say that my first motivation was passion. I so much wanted to be a doctor, and I was thinking that maybe if we had a surgeon back then, maybe my friend might still be alive today. So that's one motivation for me. And another thing is my family. I saw how much sacrifices and efforts my parents put into my schooling, my academics and all that. So I told myself that I have a responsibility to make them proud, and my siblings as well. I have two others, and they've already set the pace. You know, when your elder brothers are up there, you have no choice but to follow suit. So that was also another motivation for me. And the last one, which for some people they say it shouldn't be a motivation, but for me it is, because it helps me, it puts me on my toes, and that's the fear of failing. It's not like I've never failed before, but then I just have this, this fear that I don't want to fail. I wouldn't want to impede my class, so I have to work hard. That alone will wake me up at night to study. So I think those are my motivation.
Let's please take note of this motivation, guys, because it's so good. So to another question, we want to know the challenges you face, because in as much as whatever might have happened, you faced one or two challenges. And which year was the most difficult for you? Because we hear people sometimes say this year is difficult for me, I faced so much this year. So we want to hear from you.
Okay. So I had challenges just like anyone else I did. Okay, and most times the challenges unfold as you go. Different class has different challenge, okay? But I think the challenge that will stand out for most medical students is the feeling of uncertainty, like non-progression. You feel like you have not studied enough. For me, that's the biggest challenge of a medical student, be it pharmacy, be it medicine, be it nursing. Even when you study, you feel like this is not enough. You feel like I don't know it all. So because of that, you lose your self-confidence. So that's a very big challenge, because you need that. And even though that was a challenge, but it was not actually a roadblock, because it created an opportunity for growth. The fact that you don't feel content with what you have studied pushes you to do more. Like you feel like, okay, my colleagues, they have gone ahead of me, so I have to work hard and work faster. So that feeling of non-progression and uncertainty that would eventually make you lose self-confidence in your ability. That was one of my greatest challenge. And I would say because of that, my most challenging year would be second year. But then interestingly, after second year, I realized that was my best class. But during that time, it was very challenging for me, because second year is a combination of first and second year, the exams and all that. So that was the period where we had COVID and all that. So we had this long stay at home holiday. So even though I was studying during those periods, I told you, here comes in again the feeling of uncertainty or feeling of non-progression. There was a time that my friend called me, and he was like, how's the holiday, how's everything? I was just, from the area, I not studying, and he was like, can you please tell me what you studied? Then I told him I'll get this topic, I'll get it, and he was like, me, I don't even really want to be it. So you see, so for me that was a challenge, because I would say I was not content with what I was studying. So that made second year very challenging for me. Even during my exams, it got to a point that I lost confidence in myself. Even if I skip just one topic, it would be as if I haven't read anything. So I went to the exam hall, I was so worried, I had this anxiety and all that. But at the end of the day, because I had been studying and all, it manifested. So second year turned out to be my best year in medical school.
So we have this last question as we come to the end of today's interview. Okay. I want you to advise us recent students who are beginning their university journey. So what advice would you give to us?
Okay. So I would give advice to not just Christian students.
Yes.
Okay, so I would first of all want to establish that, if you're coming to commerce, or in general, your success is not just, measured by your ability to graduate as the best student. All my other colleagues, they are equally successful as I am. Okay, it's by grace and of course hard work. It doesn't mean that I didn't work hard that I graduated as the best, and I'm humble, I'm grateful for that, and I feel proud of myself. But then everybody has a different path to success. Not everybody will graduate as the best. Okay, so that aside, I would want to tell them that as a Christian, student, or as anyone else, for me, I think you have to acknowledge God. You have to acknowledge that it is God that gives wisdom, and then you have to ask for it, just as I said at the start of this interview. So that is is one. And then secondly, you have to be curious, and also you have to be willing to learn. I think one of the things that helped me in my stay at Commerce is that I was so open enough to ask people for help. I was curious to know everything. If they explain something in class and I feel like I don't understand, I ask my peers, my colleagues, my classmates, or even my seniors, and that helped me a lot, especially in my women. We had guys in class that knew maths very well, so I had to meet them for help. I attended presentations and all that, so that would help me. So you have to be able to talk to people. You have to be curious and willing to learn, and you have to work hard. Not only work hard, you have to work smart. That's the most important thing. For commerce, you have people that study 24/7, but at the end of the day, they will end up with reference or some might even repeat. So that tells you that it's not just about hard work. You have to work smart as well. By that time, you have to understand yourself. Are you a fast learner? Are you a slow learner? Your time management, all of that is very important in order for you to work smart. And even with that, you have to understand your lecturer. You have to understand your class as well. You have to be able to identify brilliant minds in your class. So that is very important. You have to work smart. And also, I would say that you need your motivation. As I mentioned, I had motivation. It's very difficult to maintain hard work, like consistency. It can be very difficult. And I tell you that it's not possible that throughout your stay in commerce you'd have the same energy. Right? There are times that you're going to feel weak. I know some people might be experiencing this. It's not, you're not alone, because even I had those moments where I didn't feel like studying and all. So that is why you have to identify your motivation. Most times when I see my dad, my parents, I tell myself, these people, they're sacrificing a lot. I have a responsibility to make them proud and all that. So you have to identify your motivation. And in order for you to maintain consistency, you have to be self-disciplined as well. And I think that is one of the most important criteria in order for you to become successful, because there are times that you're going to hurt people around you, friends, family, you might even lose friends because of that, but then that is very key in order to maintain consistency. And as I said, it's not possible for you to be hard work throughout the year. There are times that you're going to get tired and all that. So in order for you to maintain consistency in a nutshell, one, you have to identify your motivation, and also you have to be self-disciplined. You have to set goals, and you have to be disciplined enough to go with those goals. And I think another thing is you have to talk to people. Commerce is very stressful. Sometimes it could mess with your mental health. That I tell you for sure. There are times that I cried my eyes out while studying, or because of exams and all that. It comes again to the feeling of non-progression and uncertainty. So I think as a medical student, you need a confidant, someone that you can talk to. You don't know it all. You cannot take everything in. I have a friend. He's like not actually a mentor, but he's like my very close friend. Even before I came to medical school, he was there to give advice and all that. So whenever I feel down, if I feel like I'm too tired to study, then I'll just call him. Can you help me with my studies or having difficulties? There was one time when I was in second year. I told you second year was my most challenging year. I cried after my exams, not because I didn't know the questions or I thought they were difficult, but because I had lost self-confidence. I felt like what I wrote was not enough and all that. I cried immediately. I cried during the exams. And I went out, I was still crying. I just called him. I said, I think I'm going to fail and all that. Can you imagine? I told him that I was not even going to take the SAQ because I think the MCQ, because I think the SAQ was so terrible that I'm not going to take it. I told him maybe perhaps I should write a letter and all that. So it was that bad. So that was why I saw that as a challenge, the loss of self-confidence. I called him and he was like, you're going to pass and you're going to pass with a distinction. You just have to calm down. I know that you're just having this as a challenge, but then I'll come tomorrow morning. And then he came the other day. He spoke and I was fine. He gave me the confidence that I needed. So I think everybody needs that. Find a confidant, someone that you can talk to, someone that you can confide in. Because I tell you, the strongest people most times don't have a helping hand. If your colleagues know in class that you're smart, they will assume that everything is going well for you. It's all perfect. Your studies are going as planned. And it is not always true. It's not true. there are times that you don't feel like studying, just like your other colleagues and all that, and your friends will not be available because they take it as if you're okay, you're well and good. This person is smart, she's brilliant, she can do it. But there are times that you need people to talk to. You also need people to feel sorry for you. You need people to tell you, okay, you can do this. And you know the hardest part about being depressed? When you're up there, you don't want to calm down. I think that's the worst thing. If you're down already, you can fall down, you can lie flat. But if you're up there, that's your fear. I don't want to calm down. So there are times that you need someone to talk to, tell them that I'm having difficulty with my study. I think I don't understand. When you're too smart in class, even if you tell people that I don't understand, they say, don't believe you. They say, no, I lie, the guy, and all that. Maybe no, I didn't understand the study. But then I have someone that I can talk to, and I have a few friends as well that I talk to. Tell them, I'm having difficulty with this topic. Can you please help me? So I think that was very, very important. So I think my other advice to people that are coming in is about the challenges that you're going to face. I want to tell you that challenges are always going to be there, especially if you're coming to commerce. Even before I came to this institution, I had a lot about commerce. All that place, the fearful, people in the field and all that. But I want to tell you that, life is full of the future. It's full of endless potential. Don't just limit your future to present possibilities and all that. Don't take it as if, people that don't feel, so I cannot go there and all that. If I was able to come to commerce and, do this exploit, you also have that ability to do the same. You just have to, work hard and all that. So challenges are going to be there. But those challenges are not obstacles. Okay, life itself is full of challenges. And for a Christian, you should know that the presence of God is constant. Those challenges, they come and go, but then God is constant. And whenever you feel like the challenges are too much, you have someone to consult. God, tell him. Sometimes I talk to God as if he's my friend, like he's sitting down here. Commerce can be very stressful, I tell you that. Now I look at those challenges and laugh about it and all that, but during those periods, it was not funny at all. Like, it wasn't funny. But I think that's when you say, now you tell the story of how you overcame and all that. It wasn't funny. So you pray about it, because you know that God's presence is constant. There are times that I cried my eyes out. I think it was my 5th year. My assessment was very low. I had issues. I had personal issues. I had family issues, and I failed my first assessment. Yes, I failed though, but I failed. Just imagine, I'm used to being in top 10, top 5, or at least top 20. But then I failed my assessments. I'm telling you this for you to know that it is not impossible that because you're winner, you will not have moments that you'll fail. No, you would. Okay, I failed that assessment. I felt bad. I cried. I was at home. My friend called me and all that, said the grades out. I went there and I failed and all that. I cried about it. I told God that I don't want to see again. I don't want to fail this assessment again. You have to help me. I went again for the second assessment. It was OBGYN. This time I didn't fail, but I was still, at the bottom. I passed. So that's another thing. Another advice is you should learn to appreciate yourself. Whenever you make improvements, even if you're not up there yet, but please learn to appreciate yourself when studying. If I pass my test or assessment, if I do well, if I make progress, I appreciate myself. Perhaps I might buy myself a drink, or you just be singing or dancing around the house. That's just a way to appreciate myself, because it will help me. Don't beat yourself too much. I still didn't pass, or I didn't get the grade that I wanted. Okay, so I appreciated that. Okay, this was progress. I didn't fail, even though I am not among the top 10 as usual, but this is progress. I can work on this. And then I prayed about it again. I gave God a challenge. I was like, this is 5th year, and if I have a reference in this particular module, they're going to laugh at you, because they know that we serve a big God, and you have to manifest yourself as a big God. And he did manifest himself as a big God, because after I started my MCQs, someone called me. I think one of the lecturers called me, and he was like, so what happened with your assessments? What happened and all that? I just told him things happened and all that, but he said you did well in your exams, and I said okay, but you just fulfilled the title that you have. That's very good. So whenever you have those challenges or those failures, just pray about it, tell God, and then work hard. If it causes you to cry about it. I cry a lot. I'm such a crybaby. I think I've cried cried throughout my stay in commerce. If I have problems, I'll cry about it. It's not because I am weak. Most times that's a strategy for me to gain energy, because when I cry, I think about ways to sort it out. Okay, this was my fault. And there comes another advice. Take full responsibility for what happens to you. Do not blame people. Una that lecturer, they failed me. Una me padino show me in a class. Una this. No. It was my fault. I didn't pass because I did not study enough. I didn't pass because I did not understand the concepts. Take full responsibility. It starts from there. After accepting your faults, then you start by taking measures in order to address them. So I think I've said enough. So I think those should be enough tips for people coming into commerce. And please, as I said, God, work hard, work smart, be consistent, talk to people. Don't be afraid, and you have to be humble enough to ask for help from your colleagues. Don't feel like you know it all. Okay, I think that's the problem with guys. They feel too big to ask their colleagues, men. They don't ask their colleagues to teach them. But us women, even if I study, most times if I ask someone, please explain this topic to me, it's because I've already studied. I just want to know if my understanding is in place. So that's why you have to identify brilliant minds in your class. After studying, just go look around the class and just look for that brilliant mind. Ask him, have you read this topic? Can you please explain it to me? Okay, you discuss. Sometimes it's not even explanation, but you discuss so that you will know if you're on the right track. Don't just study and be satisfied with the fact that you have studied. Maybe what you have studied is not enough. You have to talk to brilliant minds in your class, have discussions with them. You have to be curious. If you see them discussing the topic, go there, because you have to understand. You cannot be competent that I know it all. So I think those are enough advice. All said and done, that's it.